going on, Jerome? So, of course, this season, Slinging Sammy Darnold and Kevin O'Connell, they got together right now over me, and Darnold had a career renaissance season. Like, there's no other way to cut it, where he won some big-time games. He was clutch in huge spots, and he put up numbers, man. 4,300 passing yards, third most in team history, 35 touchdowns, second most in team history, and you got to respect what he did. Also, he's heating up Linsanity run for about 7 games. Like, he truly was a top 5 quarterback. Playing against some tough defenses, some tough competition. Darnold leading fourth quarter, come from behind wins and drives and all that stuff, and you have to respect what he did. But then, the Rams game, the Lions game, don't want to say that it completely undid everything that he accomplished this year, but it kind of did. Just the pucker factor in a big-time spot. Did the offensive line or Kevin O'Connell do him any favors? No. But if you want to be truly elite and a quarterback that can win a Super Bowl, you got to overcome that. And Darnold simply did not. So he turned in his 2 absolute worst games at the worst time, and that is going to color his season and the legacy that he potentially left on the Minnesota Vikings. Long story longer. So ESPN, a bunch of their writers did up a 2025 NFL offseason free agents, draft notes, and predictions. And for the Vikings, Benjamin Solak, formerly of The Ringer, he had this sort of scorching take for the offseason. Big prediction for the offseason for the Vikings. I really, truly believe the Vikings will extend Darnold. They have the room for something in the Daniel Jones neighborhood. 4 years, $160 million is probably optimal. For who? Darnold's agent, Jimmy Sexton. If they can get Darnold to sign that before another team in the free market offers him a whale of a deal, Jimmy Sexton's not a dummy. Like, even though he's primarily a college football coach's agent, like, why would he sign a 4-year, $160 million deal when he knows that he could get a 5-year, $220 million deal, which is kind of crazy to say. Depending on the size of the contract, they'll either keep McCarthy or quietly look to trade him ahead of a bad quarterback draft class and see if a needy team takes the bait. I wish that there was a betting market where we could bet the don't on this, or short this, or bet against it, because I don't see this happening. I honestly don't, because the whole thing about the Daniel Jones contract is it did hamstring the Giants. Now, of course, he got the contract because of Ed Donashell. Hopefully, Donashell got 10%. Yeah, but it didn't quite work out. And also, Jones's contract is one of the reasons why they didn't re-sign Saquon and see what he's doing now. Blah, 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 right? But Darnold is going to be in demand. But the last 2 games just honestly completely poisoned the well. I know that at the end of the day, recency bias will go away and it will be a totality of everything that he did this season. But I just don't see how you could sell to the Vikings fan base after Darnold's last 2 games, hey, he's the guy, 4 years, $160 million, $40 million per year, probably $100 million guaranteed, and we're going to trade J.J. McCarthy, our now 22-year-old, happy birthday, by the way, future franchise quarterback. He gone. Nah. But Darnold will have demand elsewhere. I don't see a tag and trade in play anymore unless Kwesi really gets negotiating, and it potentially could be a spot, I guess, where this draft class is not great. Tennessee, Cleveland probably going to be in the quarterback market, but you got teams like the Giants and the Raiders and the Jets and the Saints, maybe even Indianapolis definitely could be in the market for a quarterback. So maybe it is a spot where they want to go all in on Sam Darnold and they're okay. You're parting ways with some mid-round draft capital to make sure that they get him. So then they work out a deal ahead of the franchise tagging window in February to get with the Vikings. Who knows? But I just don't see the Vikings having $78 million in cap space, committing that much to Darnold, whether it's him playing on the franchise tag or a 2 or 3 year deal, and definitely not the 4-year, $160 million deal. I just don't see that in Quake's mind. Whereas, we took our medicine in 2024, we weathered the $62 million in dead cap, and now we have a chance to really build a bully of a team around J.J. McCarthy on his rookie deal. More fatties. Trey Smith, come on down. Mekhi Becton, come on down. Tevin Jenkins, come on down. We just go that route. But I understand that it was real. It was fun with Darnold, but just I just don't see the Daniel Jones contract coming in, and I certainly don't see J.J. McCarthy being traded, because we said this before. J.J. McCarthy would be the number one overall pick in this year's draft, ahead of Cam Ward, ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So you'd have to treat him like you would be trading the number one pick. So it costs you at least 3 ones, including probably number 1 from Tennessee. We'll just go from there. But yeah, I don't see that happening. I think what's likely going to happen is that Darnold is going to sign somewhere in free agency, probably not the tag and trade anymore. Too many moving parts in that spot. And Darnold will get some cash. Like, he's probably not going to get the 50-55 million per year like he was projected after the Packers game. But could he sign somewhere for 30-35? Sure. I think that's certainly possible and plausible. And then the Vikings, you'll probably roll with Daniel Jones as J.J. McCarthy's backup, and everything is hunky-dory there. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. ESPN's Benjamin Solak predicts that the Vikings will sign Darnold to the Daniel Jones deal. Nah. Let us know. Comment section. You guys are the best. You have to do. Skull production value.